Welcome to a world without humans, a scenario that many have wondered about. If humans were to suddenly disappear from the Earth, what would happen to the planet? In this video, we'll explore some of the possible outcomes and implications of a world without humans. From the thriving natural world to the eventual decay of cities and buildings. From the improvement of the atmosphere to the rebound of the oceans. And from the struggle of domesticated animals to the breakdown of technology. We'll examine the different ways in which the world would change in the absence of humans. Join us on this journey as we imagine a world where humans are no longer present, and explore the possibilities of what might happen next in NBSP. Here are some of the things that might happen. The natural world would thrive. Without human activity, the natural world would be able to recover and thrive. Forests would grow back, and animals would flourish, leading to a more diverse and balanced ecosystem. Cities and buildings would eventually decay. Without humans to maintain and repair buildings, infrastructure, and other human-made structures, they would slowly decay and be reclaimed by nature. Skyscrapers and other tall buildings would eventually crumble, and cities would be reduced to ruins. The atmosphere would improve. Human activity is a significant contributor to air pollution and climate change. Without humans, the air would be cleaner, and the planet would experience less pollution and global warming. The oceans would rebound. Human activities like overfishing, pollution, and climate change have taken a significant toll on the world's oceans. Without humans, the oceans would rebound, and marine life would become more abundant. Some domesticated animals might struggle. Many domesticated animals rely on humans for food and shelter. Without humans, some species of domesticated animals might struggle to survive. Technology would eventually break down. Without humans to maintain and repair technology, everything from cars to computers would eventually break down, and electricity grids would fail. Overall, the absence of humans would lead to a more balanced and sustainable world, although the transition would likely be difficult for many species, including those that rely on humans for their survival. And NBSP, in a world without humans, the natural world would have the opportunity to thrive in ways that it hasn't been able to for centuries. Plants and trees would grow and spread unhindered, creating lush, vibrant forests and fields. Animals that have been pushed to the brink of extinction by human activities, such as hunting and habitat destruction, would slowly begin to recover. The air would be cleaner and fresher than it has been in a long time, with no factories or vehicles to pollute it. Rivers and streams would run clear, and the oceans would begin to recover from overfishing and pollution. The natural world would be able to find a new balance, with predators and prey populations stabilizing and coexisting in harmony. As humans disappear, urban and suburban areas would slowly become overgrown with trees and vegetation. Tall skyscrapers would become towering landmarks in the midst of dense forests, while abandoned highways and bridges would become the domain of wildlife, with plants growing up through cracks in the pavement and animals roaming freely. In the absence of humans, the natural world would be able to reclaim its place on Earth. The planet would become a more vibrant, diverse, and beautiful place, with ecosystems thriving and species flourishing. It would be a world without the pollution, destruction, and depletion that humans have inflicted on it for centuries. And NBSP, cities and buildings would eventually decay and crumble. At first, the urban landscape might seem eerily quiet, with no cars or people to be seen. But as time went on, nature would begin to take over. Buildings and infrastructure that were once carefully maintained would slowly start to deteriorate. Without humans to fix broken windows, patch up roofs, or repair damaged walls, rain and weather would take their toll. Plants and trees would begin to grow up through the cracks in the pavement and on the sides of buildings, gradually tearing them apart. As the years passed, tall skyscrapers that once dominated the skyline would become hulking ruins, with vines and trees growing up through the broken windows and shattered concrete. Streets that were once busy with traffic would become overgrown with weeds and grasses, with animals and insects making their homes in abandoned buildings. Eventually, the cities would be unrecognizable, skyscrapers would be reduced to rubble, and even the most durable of buildings would crumble to the ground. The only remnants of human civilization would be the occasional metal structure, such as bridges or tunnels, which would rust away over time. Nature would have taken over completely, with forests and fields spreading out where once there were concrete and steel. The urban landscape that humans had created would have disappeared, replaced by a new kind of wildness that would dominate the planet. And in BSP, the atmosphere would begin to improve rapidly. Human activities such as burning fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrialization have contributed to air pollution, greenhouse gas emissions, and climate change. Without humans to carry out these activities, the air would become cleaner and the planet would experience less pollution and global warming. As factories, power plants, and vehicles shut down, emissions of carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and sulfur dioxide would decrease dramatically. The air would become fresher, and the skies would be clearer. The amount of harmful particulate matter in the air, which can cause respiratory problems and other health issues, would also decrease. As a result of these changes, the ozone layer would begin to recover, and the risk of skin cancer and other health problems associated with ozone depletion would decrease. The decrease in greenhouse gas emissions would slow down the rate of global warming, leading to a more stable climate and less extreme weather patterns. The improvement in the atmosphere would also have a positive impact on the natural world. Plants and trees would be able to grow more efficiently and produce more oxygen, leading to a healthier and more diverse ecosystem. Animals that were struggling to adapt to changes in the climate caused by human activity would have a better chance of survival. Overall, a world without humans would lead to a significant improvement in the atmosphere and a healthier planet for all living beings. And in BSB, the oceans would have the opportunity to rebound and recover from centuries of overfishing, pollution, and other harmful human activities. The marine ecosystem would begin to thrive, with an abundance of marine life and healthier ecosystems. With no commercial fishing fleets, the fish populations would start to recover, allowing the food chain to stabilize. The decline in fish populations has disrupted the balance of the oceans, leading to the collapse of entire ecosystems. Without humans to cause this disruption, the oceans would slowly begin to regain their balance. In addition to the decline in fishing, the oceans would also experience a significant reduction in pollution. Human activities such as oil spills, plastic waste, and industrial runoff have all had a negative impact on the marine environment. Without humans to cause this pollution, the oceans would begin to clear up, allowing marine life to thrive. The coral reefs, which are home to some of the most diverse and complex ecosystems on the planet, have been particularly hard hit by human activities. As a result of warming ocean temperatures, pollution, and overfishing, many of the world's coral reefs are dying. Without humans to contribute to these problems, the coral reefs would have a better chance of survival. Overall, a world without humans would allow the oceans to recover and regain their health. The marine ecosystem would become more diverse, and the oceans would be cleaner and more vibrant. The ocean's role in regulating the planet's climate and producing oxygen would be restored, leading to a healthier planet for all living beings. And in BSB, some domesticated animals might struggle to survive. Domesticated animals, such as dogs, cats, cows, and chickens, have been selectively bred and trained to live alongside humans for thousands of years. They have become dependent on humans for food, shelter, and protection, and in a world without humans, many of these animals would struggle to survive. Some domesticated animals, such as dogs and cats, might be able to adapt to a wilder environment and survive by hunting and scavenging for food. However, many of these animals have been bred to rely on humans for their survival and might struggle to compete with other wild animals for food and territory. Other domesticated animals, such as cows and chickens, have been bred to be raised in captivity and might have difficulty surviving in the wild. They have become accustomed to being fed and protected by humans and might not know how to fend for themselves in the wild. In addition, without humans to care for them, many domesticated animals would be at risk of disease, injury, and predation. Domesticated animals have been selectively bred for their desirable traits, which might make them more vulnerable to predators or less able to survive in the wild. Overall, a world without humans would be a challenging environment for many domesticated animals. Some might be able to adapt and survive, while others might struggle and even go extinct. The natural world would take over, and animals that were once dependent on humans would have to adapt to a new kind of wildness. And in BSB, technology would eventually break down and become obsolete. The vast majority of modern technology relies on a steady supply of electricity, which is generated by power plants that require human intervention to operate and maintain. Without humans to keep the power plants running, they would eventually shut down and the supply of electricity would come to a halt. This would lead to the failure of other technologies, such as computers, phones, and other electronic devices, which rely on electricity to function. In addition to the failure of electricity-dependent technology, other technologies would also break down over time. Infrastructure such as roads, bridges, and buildings would slowly deteriorate, as there would be no humans to repair and maintain them. The natural elements, such as wind, rain, and sun, would take their toll on technology, causing materials to degrade and become unusable. Over time, machinery and vehicles would rust and deteriorate, eventually becoming unusable. The decay of technology would have a significant impact on the world. The lack of electricity would mean that many industries, such as manufacturing and transportation, would come to a halt. The inability to produce new technology would eventually result in a regression to simpler ways of living. Overall, in a world without humans, technology would eventually break down and become obsolete. The natural world would reclaim what was once human-made, and the future would be shaped by a return to simpler ways of living. And in BSB, as we come to the end of this video, we hope that you've enjoyed this glimpse into a world without humans. If you found this video interesting or thought-provoking, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. Don't forget to check out the description below for more information on the topic and related resources. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.